Welcome back to another episode of the Revolutionary Hour, the podcast where we crack the codes, break the chains, and light the way forward. Today, we are honored to bring you a voice that's shaking the foundations of false narratives and resurrecting the truth with power and precision. Our guest is not only just a researcher, he's a revolutionary in real time, a cultural restorer, a truth seeker, and a fearless forensic historian. Demetrius Sosa Bread Smith is on a mission to unearth the buried identities of indigenous American ancestry and expose the reclassification of our people as so-called Black Americans. Through ancestral forensics, spiritual codes, and hardcore historical receipts, he's not just talking about land, legacy, and identity, he's reclaiming it. Tune in as we dive deep into the real roots, the real people, and the real purpose. Family, this isn't just a conversation, this is a call to awaken. Welcome to Revolutionary Hour, Sosa Bread. The mic is yours. How you doing today?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. This is like one of my first ones, my first invite. So let's do it, man. I'm excited.
Hey, man, with the knowledge you've been kicking, man, expect you're going to be getting a lot more. You're going to be a lot more invites. You're going to get a lot more love, but you're also going to get a lot more hate. And a lot of it is going to stem from our own people, man. And it's like, it's hard to understand it.
You're right. You can't win them all, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't even
Right.
want to, because we're so powerful. So I don't even like underestimating us on no round. We don't even
Facts.
understand all the powers that we possess, man. That's what we
That's
on right
fact.
now.
You're right about that, man. Well, let's start at the root of it. What first sparked your journey into uncovering indigenous American ancestry and in challenging the mainstream historical narrative?
Brother. It was a lot coincided with this stuff, man. One of the main triggers was the um, rest in peace, the wrongdoing of George Floyd, which we all seen through the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that was major, and I had a talk with my pops, and me and him was like, we was like, why do they do this to us? Why? And then you know how we as gods, we get in that state like it's not the color of our skin. That's too
Right.
basic. Right? Nobody is that. And then I start doing. Oh, it's because who we are. And then going down the path. I'm in Arizona. I work with a lot of people from the African continent, bro. And when you're around, you know what I'm saying, people that they're telling you that you are, you get to like something is different, something is off. Like, and then you get to
Yep.
just asking yourself this question: African American, how am I two continent? like you just get to
Right.
the gears get to shifting. So that's how I got into it.
That's what's up, man. Because a lot of people we use words and don't even understand the connotation or the denotations of these words that we're using. Meaning we don't know how to use these words. So when you hear things like African American, it only hits a few ears wrong. Like, hold on, wait, them two that phrase doesn't sound right. Wait, those are two continental landmasses, and one of them is two different continents. So which continent am I belonging to? Come on, man, it's confusing. But the people who are lack of knowledge, it doesn't really hit them that way. What do you think that? What do you say that you knew already inherently about yourself or about the education that you have received that made that term stick out to you as weird?
Uh, I think it's just honestly just around the terms that they give us because they give us so many. All of them have really stuck out since I was a child, bro. Like, ain't none of it been right. Like, none of it has been right. Like, like even when they teach us in school, like, oh, the only way y'all could have got here was through, like, so y'all mean to tell me y'all just pulled up and didn't see like y'all didn't see none
Right.
of us. Like, it wasn't none of us
Exactly.
nowhere. Like, it don't, not one. Like, stop it. You can't go
Right.
nowhere now and not see one, at least one to two of us, and that's anywhere. I'm talking about New Mexico. So like
Yep.
we're everywhere, bro.
Exactly. I mean, they try to say that they brought us everywhere, but you can't make that make sense when you also say that when you went to Australia and you seen the Aboriginals down there, they was dark complected people as well. Everywhere you go that you discovered copper colored people, uh, which also makes you wonder, how did y'all even learn how to sail? We have literally stories of us selling before the CE era, the Common Era, or what they now call the Anno Domino AD era. We have stories of us selling and going to places on boats. And like, how did y'all even learn how to sail? Y'all had to learn it from us.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
mhm.
And that
So
and
that's
that's really worldwide, bro.
yeah.
Y'all learn that from this side of the world, from the western side of the world.
Yep. Exactly. Because the western side of the world, if you look at the rest of the world is congregated. The western side of the world, the Americas are offset. It's over here while the rest of the world is over there. So how in the world do we have all these influences from the rest of the world already over here?
Right.
They don't make that make sense. And they use these different terms. And you also created or used the term that I actually want you to break down for the people and share how you apply that in your research. And that's ancestral forensics, because that's where my people are really adamant. They want to know, where can they find their ancestors?
Our ancestors, for one, it's so deep. And I was just having this thought, this mind frame before I got up here. I was having these thoughts before I got up here with you. They have stolen so much from us. They have dwindled at our mind and our memory so much. I'm like, man, I have to tap into a way where this doesn't take us generations to remember. Cause that's all it is, bro. It's activation and it's memory. So for one, blood memory is big. Your blood, who you are is in your blood. It's running through you every day. You are your ancestors. That's one. You're gonna have
Yep.
to tap in. And then that's gonna be first. And that comes with, I don't want to go to Dr. Sabi. We gotta eat and
Eat.
drink accordingly, getting the right waters and fluids and you know what I'm saying, whatever we need to really tap in. That's a big thing as well.
Right.
And to hit on a more grounded standpoint, bro, we are the most documented people on the earth. Can't nobody go back into their ancestry and their genealogy farther than the copper colored Americans, the
Yep.
so-called black folks.
Mhm. Now, how would you find that information out? Like when you did your research, that was one of the things that a lot of people are lacking in. They want to go to ancestry.com or DNA 23andMe or whatever the other sites are that they send their DNA off and it supposedly tells them about themselves.
Oh, that's for one, like I said, we're documented. So ancestry not only does DNA, they have all our records. They have our records. I started building my family tree, and it's something that we got put on in like elementary, or or we spoke about it in schools, but
Hmm.
we didn't really know how important that is. Your family
Right.
tree is your story. You know what I'm saying? When you can go back and look into those archives and find your mom, your grandmother's mother, and her mom, and who she married to, you're literally finding your ancestors. So ancestry has that, but it's a lot of other free genealogy where you can build genealogy websites where you can build your family tree and start finding your ancestors. I mean, you can, I think it's familyresearch.com, I want to say. Don't quote me. It's a .com or it's a .org, but you can go up there for free and start finding your ancestors. Start looking for their records, birth certificates, unalive certificates, things of our records. Our records are out. Like the people in the Eastern world, like Africa, like they can't look back into their ancestry like we can look back into our on paper. So not
Right.
only do we have an oral lineage, You know what I'm saying? Because our
Yeah.
grandmothers and our elders have always told us who we was, even if that got
Yeah.
laid by the wayside. So we have an oral tradition, and that's how you're going to be able to put your family tree together. Talking to your family members, getting it. Hey, mama, what about your cousins over here and our people over here? You know, so that you grew up with. Talking to your elders are walking libraries, my
Yes, they
people,
are.
and we need to. That's one of the main libraries that we need to be at, sitting down in front of our elders and why they still got it. Because I talk to my grandmother still, and she still gives me these gems, and I go look like she sound crazy, y'all. But everything she says checks out.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. And I know because I grew up with my grandmother telling me everything. Matter of fact, I wanted to share a picture of my grandmother. Okay, okay, so you can see right here. My grandmother is Anna Yanwia. That's what she introduced herself into at me as. You know, that's my father on the left hand on the my left hand side right there. And with my grandmother right here, she told me we Anna Yanwia. And if you check it out, it Anna Yanwia has been reclassified as the Cherokee. She is straight from California. She has all her excuse me, God bless her soul. She had all her paperwork, which I'm getting my dad, which is right here, to send to me very shortly here. He already sent me a video. I'm gonna stop sharing right now. He already sent me a video where the family has gotten together in order to be able to talk about how to reclassify this, and this video was from 1983. So my family has already been on that, checking the family history, checking, like you say, the unalive records, the birth, the live, the certificate of live birth records. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know that before birth certificate, it was called the certificate of live birth, and they always run into this issue. I can't find a birth certificate from la 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 this year. Well, did you look up on the certificate of live birth? They changed these things for a reason, because they needed to cover where you was originally from. Not only did they cover these things, but they also gave you some. Many of our people have been taught a totally different origin story. Like what? So, what are some of the biggest lies or classifications you've uncovered about the so-called Black Americans so far?
Oh my God, bro. It- these people have lied to us about every single thing. Like, and none of it really can hold up. Um, like it's so much. As far as like the reclass, like let's start with the slave trade. I don't even know how to say it because it don't read the slave trade, I guess. Like, bro, even when you
I call
get
it a.
to
I, I'm sorry. I call it a prisoner of war trade.
yeah, and you're right, because most of that is done on this land. They did more sending us out of here than they ever did bringing an African into this land.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
when you get to doing the
Exactly.
research, you'll see that.
Exactly. You see, like with they had to get rid of us in order to bring their people here and sell them the plots of land for only $5, and then give them titles. That way, they can fall up under the protection of the treaties. Like, how do you explain these treaties to people when they say, "Oh, they never broke treaties"?
Every single one of them has been broken. All the treaties are fraudulent, or all of them have been broken. And it's a few of us that I see doing work. I forget the brother's name. He's amazing. They standing on some of these treaties and walking around like they know what's up, and they
Yeah,
got a lot of this stuff down pat. And a lot of us have a lot of us. It's more of us starting to see that we the Indians, but a lot of us don't know that we are the Indians. Like,
yeah,
you can say what you want. This is Indian country, and we are the Indians, and a lot of us don't know that. And it's such a battle of, like you said, haters going back on. Like, you're not. I had to learn this time around. I'm not about to get into that.
yeah,
There's so much of that, but a lot
yeah.
of us don't know that we are these people, bro. So we have really ignored our responsibility.
Yes, we
And
have.
it's I say
Definitely.
it's only been a couple generations, but we have ignored our responsibility, and that's what I'm doing, along with the spiritual, along with the ancient knowledge and the teachings and cracking codes. we need to step right. We
Right.
need to have we need to step right. We need to hold people accountable, and we need to hold
Right.
ourselves accountable.
Yeah, and we definitely do. Definitely do. And that definitely we want I want most of this interview to be exactly about how we can hold ourselves accountable. But I do just want to touch on one more thing because I wanted them to understand how they was even put in this position in the first place so that they can actually be set up to not take accountability. So in your view, how has language, especially terms like black or African American, been used as a weapon of erasure?
Uh, everything, everything. That's what keeps us in their system. The blacks and the African Americans keep us in their system like that. Because, like you said,
Yes.
that's not under any treaties. Black and African American is not in any treaties. They make you sign up under that, going into these corporate entities that we don't really. We were here before the corporate entities. We did not live off a corporate uh, strategic society. That wasn't us. So we're all out of element right now, and those terms and titles connects connects us to their fake history. It connects us to that
Mhm.
transatlantic BS story they try to give us. It don't show you that all your people was here and fought in every single Indian war.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Like we look at the Seminole Wars in Florida, all three of them, and there was a you could tell by the paintings of that Europeans drew of the war that these were copper colored people and they called them red for a reason. Because brown, which our skin color really is a variation of red.
Exactly.
So it was a reason why they did that, and they don't understand the fact that when they moved over here, they had to start. If you're going to claim something, you got to make sure that the people who owned it first cannot come back to claim it. Now, there's a reason why the Indians or the so-called Native Americans stay on the reservations versus trying to reclaim it through legal processes. If it was yours to begin with, then you can claim it. They actually have a reclamation law in every state to where you can reclaim anything that you had lost or was not passed down to you and that's just sitting in the state's treasury waiting for somebody to claim it. So if not, why wouldn't they take a part of that? That right there shows you a lot about how they took these names, these classifications, and it separated you from the treaties. And once they separate you from the treaties, they could treat you however you want.
they could
However.
they could run the treaties how they like. This is like,
It's
and
there.
they play it like this ain't got nothing to do with y'all. This is all on the Native American. Like, no,
Yeah.
bruh. That's why they're the Native Americans. Where all the Indians go,
Right.
niggas. Excuse me.
Right.
I just gotta say
Exactly. Exactly. Shoot. They got reclassified as black, Negro, nigger, and all of that
it.
other good stuff.
All that other good stuff, man.
Hmm. Now we have to start taking accountability, and like you were saying earlier, you want us to start reaching out to our ancestors that are deeply in our blood, whether it's through mRNA, whether it's through DNA, whether it's through any kind of genetics, But a lot of people don't understand that genetics and spirituality go hand in hand. So, how do spiritual codes play into the work that you do, and what role does spirituality have in cultural restoration?
It's hard because I don't even like to be all spiritual, like crazy, but you can't leave it out. That's the call. That's what you. It it doesn't allow us. It doesn't allow us to tap into any of the knowledge if we don't. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then we are a very special people over here. Like
Mhm.
we are different from everybody in the world, and it don't come from nobody but our ancestors. Like I don't like to give nobody else credit. Like, oh, they came into y'all community. Like, bro, we've been segregated from people. Like, y'all don't understand that. So we are uniquely our own.
Yes.
Like, ain't
Yes.
nobody else been really segregated from people like that. We was segregated from people up into the 60s. For y'all to say that it's a whole bunch of crazy stuff in our running through our bloodline, y'all are, it don't add up.
Not at all.
We might be a little off our rocker, but ain't nothing wild in our bloodline like that because we was not around y'all. It was I forget the dates, but up until a certain date, I want to say in the late 1800s, it was only 20,000 mixed race marriages. It tells you that we're probably the least mixed people in the whole entire planet.
Facts. Facts. And you got to understand that when we did start mixing with them, this is when the cognitive dissonance started, because we have to understand that when they came into existence onto this planet, they came into the harshest environments ever. You know, it was an ice age. It was no vegetation. They had animals up there that were trying to eat them, and they were trying to eat the animals. You know, they had to live in caves because that's the real reason that people have to live in caves to stay warm. We're in Africa. We got the sun. We don't need to stay warm. We go outside and hey, we automatically warm. But they had to live in the caves. They had to live cold and had to grow thick skin, had to grow hair on their bodies in order to keep themselves warm. And they became what it was existing as brutes. They had to be brutal in order to survive. They still have that genome because that's how they came into existence. And that genome mixes around the world. And now you're starting to see that we are having, and I'm not trying to put down the Europeans or the Iberians or whatever. I'm just saying this is just genetics. It's genetics. When you spread that seed, that gene around, now that gene is going around causing destruction on a massive level. And they looking at us like, yo, black on black crime, but they don't want to talk about white on white crime for a reason. If they do, they have to admit their inherent nature, because throughout history, that's who has been causing most of the devastation. And they only been on this planet for a short amount of time compared to the rest of us.
Right.
So,
For real. And then our people, we've been genetic engineering shit for a minute on our
yes.
like we've been with this mind like and a lot of us didn't know what to do with it, so we've been, you know what I'm saying, genetic masters for a minute, and you know what I'm saying, we kind of kicked ourselves in the mouth a little bit with the shit too, so
Yeah. Hey, everything that we work on wasn't all golden, you know?
oh man, you can see in some of these animals like, and that's
Right.
another thing they try to play us like these animals been around for like, no, we've been around so long that we created these million-year old animals that you see today.
Mhm.
That's another, they play on our timeline, bro.
Yeah.
We go way back past their mitochondrial Eve and Adams that they try to get.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. You could definitely find our DNA sprawled on rocks that has been dated for millions of years. I think there was a rock over here in North American continent. They found it that they decided to do some carbon testing, and they found some blood on it. And they think that it was one of the workers who helped build the mounds. And they tested it. The rock was over 3.5 million years old. So they're guessing that the bloodline is about that long. Like, so we here building this land, making it the beautiful land that it is, because I'm not saying people got to be Christian. I'm not Christian, but I do take some validity to the Bible when it says that God said that we were supposed to go out and work the earth. That was the first law He gave us, was to make the earth look beautiful. And then you come to this land, and even after hundreds of years of the European being here fucking it up, it's still beautiful because of the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years that we spent building it up. This is our land.
Oh man, 100% without a doubt. And our land is calling for us right now. Like it really
Yeah.
is. It's calling for us to come back in some type of conform unity amongst us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying, but we got to worry about ourselves for a minute for so long. Like it's going to be hard for us to be giving people anything, or we
Yeah.
have to do it so fast. Where because you think about it, bro, if we cut the rest of the world off, what do you have? And I'm talking about these American Indians. If we cut the rest of the world off, like, look, we just gonna go back to the South. Y'all leave us alone.
Right.
Where
Right.
would the rest of the world be?
They lost. They getting lost now. They won't be able to even. They can't even come up with cognitive. Look what they're doing over there in Africa, where the Africans are claiming their land back, and they're over there in Africa claiming their land back, and these Europeans are going haywire over a land that they don't even live on. Imagine if we did that here. If we did that here, and you talk a lot about reclaiming land and legacy, what are some practical steps our people can take to begin that process?
I see a lot of us building nations. That's good. We have to have the right documentation together, bro. I would say that we have to, and it's really how they did it. If you really look, they got that stuff from us. We need to have declarations. You know what I'm saying? We need to have
Mhm.
affidavits. We need to be
Yep.
charging people for, you know what I'm saying, the wrongdoings that they have done historically, documented. Just by
Yep.
our grandmamas having Negro on their documentation and birth certificates is a forced classification. That's unlawful. And
Yes.
all of us can be compensated for it. We don't spank these people. They get away with doing whatever they want to us, and we don't spank these people enough. And it ain't always got to be fisticuffs.
Nah. You're right about that. It's we talking about every time we bring up we need to do something about it. The first thing they talk about is what we're gonna do. They got an army biggest, the biggest. They got the best army in the world. Who said that we have to do this military wise? And if let's just say you wanted to go down that route, you don't think that there's people in the military that actually know this information and understand what's going on and is just waiting for us to start striking up. We are in the streets waiting to start striking up. There, when we protest, there have been soldiers protesting with us. So why wouldn't you think that they wouldn't be ready to move? But let's say we want to do this in a more peaceful, diplomatic way. There's so many ways to do it. Like you said, forced reclassification. The UN has the rights of the child and the rights of the indigenous. That means that in them declarations, it's illegal to force a reclassification of people. A child has a right to a nationality, so if we don't have our nationality, we can sue for that.
And you still gotta, and they're so cold, bro. They're these people cold. These people is so cold. They got that in those declarations of indigenous peoples, and still put Negro blacks on
Yeah,
blacks and African Americans on the goddamn census. Ain't
yeah,
that's
yeah.
bold?
But you know what? But you know what though? You know how I look at that? Why not give people the option? They can choose whatever they want if they have the right knowledge. If we stop checking African American, black, and go down to other, and they other always as I know because this is what I do. I put other and then I put indigenous and I leave it at that. I leave it at whatever you want to. Yeah, exactly. You can't classify me as anything other than what I put down, and you gave me the option. I filled out the option, so you cannot go back and tell me I'm wrong. If you knew who I was, which I know you know and you don't want to tell me, but if you knew who I was and you wanted me to believe something else, you're going to automatically make me. But what they do is they give you the option. That way they can say, well, he picked it. We didn't force him to do it. We gave him an option. But what you didn't do is give me the education. You didn't give me the knowledge. You told me I was from Africa. When I'm looking at my grandmama, I'm looking at my grandmama. She don't look African. People have clearly said that my grandmama must be mixed with like white and Puerto Rican or something like that. And I'm like, come on, man, make that make sense. I told you who my grandmama is. And now y'all want to keep telling me who my grandmama is. Like y'all seen her, like met her before.
My grandmama don't know who she is. And that's what I'm
Right.
telling you. Like, bro, my grandma knew who her grandma was. Her grandma knew who her, like, we've been passing down oral lineage for a long time. Oral knowledge,
Yes,
really, because they done gave us so much game.
they
Like,
have. Exactly. We don't want to listen to our grandparents. We get this air up in our attitude that we don't want to listen to authority. But yet we're taking the authority from an enemy who set us down a path of destruction. I
it's
can't.
it's a fear, bro. I think it's got to a point where they done played the fear tactic so much that our people, like, bro, like, you break them down so bad financially because it's a corporation. Like, are we going to act like it's not a corporate? It's not a government. It has not
That
been a government since 1933.
that
So it's a corporation. It's a business, bro. Treat them like they supposed to be treated. You hit their
is
pockets enough, they ain't got no fight back. There's no fight back power.
yep. And I tell them we have all these people that complain about what's going on over there in Pakistan, what's going on over there in the Congo, what's going on over there with all these U.S. colonization, these European colonizations and things of that nature. But we're paying them to do it. The, we're
You're their
giving
most valuable asset.
exactly, exactly. And if you stop playing their game, you will not be an asset of theirs. They cannot capitalize off you anymore. And guess what? They can't do? Afford to go to war.
Period. They ain't got no resources. They ain't got nothing to fight back with. You done took it all.
Nothing.
And then who
Yeah,
got the power? The power right back in the hands of the people. Then boom, we got Egypt all over again. We go to the mounds, restore the mounds. We can do all type of cool stuff. But one thing we can't
exactly.
do is be scared.
That facts, man. I'm reading. Okay, I got it by my bed, but I'm reading. Robert Greene from 48 Laws of Power.
Yes,
He
sir.
got with 50 Cent and wrote a book with 50 Cent called 50 of Law. And what
Yeah.
he did was he followed 50 Cent for 2 or 3 years to write this book. The first line that they open up with is, "You have to be fearless. You cannot accomplish anything if you have fear." And I'm like, shoot, where was this fucking law at when I started reading fucking first 48 laws? You know what I'm saying? Like, that should have been the first law. You cannot accomplish anything. You cannot get any power if you have fear, which is what these people have instilled in us by educating us with the misinformation that they have put into these books and forced upon us.
Um, these people, they done so much with the our minds, bro. Like it's been so much trauma where it's like that's what you have to do to a god. You have to make a god. You got because they get us at birth, right?
Yeah.
So they get us at birth, and that's they start as soon as you come out the womb. They do a whole bunch of saying unpractical practices on us. And
Yep.
they start, so they already work. They know you're a god. That's why they got to get you right at fresh out the womb. You got to go fresh preschool. They got to get you early. They can't let you stay at home with granny. All you know how much knowledge and shit you will have.
Facts.
So it's
Facts.
like they know they know that we are gods, bro. So they have to make us the first thing like y'all ain't nothing. Let's start there. Let's Slavery was taught to us early. Let's start there. Y'all ain't nothing but some
Early.
shadows. they
Early.
for
First off,
real.
there never was
First,
kings and queens.
right. First off, let
Anything
me
in
tell you,
Africa.
you ain't shit. Damn. I never was throughout my lineage. Like, not over here.
No.
These lands you
Uh,
was.
exactly. Oh, those are just hills. Those aren't mounds. Y'all didn't build those. Those was made by our Christian God.
What about this big church building that looked like old old world Europe? Don't worry, don't you worry about
Nah,
that. That was
nah. The
founded
one,
in 18.
yeah.
That was founded
Well,
in 1857. Nigga. Chill.
well before we made black people. Y'all
Right.
made black people. What the exactly, man. Like this is a real big time of mass misinformation, man. How do you vet your sources and ensure that you have your historical receipts airtight?
Oh man, I try to get them from all. I try to have it so airtight, bro, where I can't like it's really irrefutable. That's what I really try to do. So I'll get the government sources. I'll get you know what I'm saying, the EDUs. I'll
Yeah,
get some independence and then you know what I'm saying, cite some of the stuff they saying or see if I can get some information from what they're talking about because I don't really like to downplay anybody's information. Everybody knows something. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So everybody knows
right.
something.
Yeah, I had an interview with the guy who's been delving into the USC, the United States codes and things of that nature, and finding out about nationality and things of that nature. Just had an interview with him, and he says that every time he goes to talk to somebody in the government about something, they act like they don't know a fucking word of it. Of course they got to do that. They got to keep putting on that narrative that, oh, this is, don't worry about it. They'll even send you letters when you send FOIA saying that you need to desist with this frivolous action. I know I've gotten 4 letters like that, and I wrote back and say, "What was the frivolous action? Asking y'all for information?" Like, hmm. I just asked a question here. Like, you know what they say? A dangerous man is the one that asks questions, and the one to be fearful of is the one that don't want to answer.
Man.
So it's definitely some, you got to go to those .govs. Like you said, they got the information on there. They put it in there and they put it in words because they taught blacks that they weren't allowed to read. Once they reclassified them, you aren't allowed to read. They made it a life sentence, a death sentence, excuse me, to even know how to pronounce a word.
Right. You can read nothing else, but you better not lay your eyes on that book.
Exactly. So when it comes to a book, now niggas be like, just tell me what's in it.
That can't get us nowhere. And this is so much information, bro. Like
Yes.
you, it's so much that you gonna have to. We gotta be able to go find the information that we need to find. It's a lot of filler too. It's a lot of it's a
Yeah.
lot of information that you don't need sometime, and it's in the way of the information you do need. So we got to be able to
Right.
move it out the way. Like I need to go find this. This is what I need right now. Let me go find it. Let me go
Exactly.
get that.
Exactly, man. And like you got they do all that filler stuff to make it exhaustive. You know, you be reading through it, reading, but like, okay, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This ain't got nothing to do with my family. Why is it here? But a lot of that stuff also too is you want to push it to the side, but not throw it away. Because whenever you want to get like a full 360-degree picture, let's say I'm looking at my lineage, you looking at your lineage, you rereading these fillers that don't make sense to either one of us, but we swap. I read your feelings, you read my feelings. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so this happened when in mine it said this. Oh, okay, so it starts to play together. This is why our people must get together. We're not a monolith, but we can practice unity. Stop putting each other down just because we're looking for our history, looking for our future, and finding out it wasn't exactly how the white man told us, which we should have been thinking that in the first place.
And we all have a common. Our common interest is the land we stand on. Like, do
Yes,
y'all realize how much, you know what I'm saying, bloodshed our ancestors have done? Like it's a redemption that must it can get real ugly, y'all, if we don't. It can
right.
get ugly
Yeah,
if we don't. Y'all think it's ugly now. It can get ugly if we don't. Because they don't the United States corporation, they're it's a wrap. Trump is, you notice Trump ain't really talking stuff like he usually talks stuff. He's real quiet, signing paper. He at work hard because they're in such a bind themselves. It's time for us to take our power back because they're
yeah.
screwed up right now. They ain't hot shit like people think they hot shit.
Hmm. Yeah, you know what showed me that they was in real hot water is when Pope Francis he rescinded the doctrine of discovery. Once he did that, are you familiar with the doctrine of discovery?
I'm familiar with the Doctor of Discovery, but I'm not familiar with him rescinding it. And after how many
Yeah,
years?
exactly. And a lot of people, and I've been watching because I like to watch the papacy because of course it's our knowledge that they stole in order to build the papacy. So I like watching them. He had minor health conditions, minor health problems before he went to Canada because that's what he did it last year. And I think it was either last year or 2023 in Canada. He went up there and he rescinded the doctrine of discovery, apologized for it, and everything. After then, his health started to deteriorate fast. So, and then Trump wins the presidency, and it's like right now they are doing whatever they can to salvage the fucking corporation that they have built on top of our backs. They are doing everything because Pope Francis, when he said that, it brought light. It proved what a lot of teachers and scholars was teaching about it being indigenous. The doctrine of discovery allowed them to come and claim our land, claim the people, reclassify the people, all up under.
Oh, that's the whole meat and potatoes, nitty gritty of it all, bro. It's like you saying that to me just tripped
Mhm.
me out, bro.
Yes,
Because I didn't
yes,
know that. This is the first time I'm hearing that, and they don't obviously they don't put this in mainstream news because if
no, man.
more people knew that the doctrine of discovery was recent, we could be out this month.
Why do you think these African countries are creating coups and taking their land back and kicking them European countries out? Right now, Burkina Faso, they tried to kill this man 20 times. France tried to, and the US tried to kill this man 20 times. They aren't getting the help that they were getting before because it's starting to deteriorate. It's coming. All we have to do is take note, see what they're doing over there, and be like, you know what? We need our land back. But guess what? We don't even think this is our land.
Right, that's the
Yeah.
cold part about it. We don't even. It's not enough of. I think it's enough of us that know it's not enough of us congregated to be like, hey, this is this. This needs to be done in 10 days. If not, we're putting a lien on this, and
That
we gonna get ours one way or another. So y'all might as well cooperate, or you might as well just come up off it. Everybody go home. Like, it's been cool. Y'all
right.
come up with the seats and give it back
Right.
to us because it's really
Exactly.
ours
Thanks for
anyway.
keeping
Give
it
it
up.
back. Right.
I would thank you for keeping it up, but we've been doing that for you.
Yeah, you just been screwing it up the whole time while we
Exactly.
yeah, y'all taking care of
Exactly.
business out there.
Nah, we good. We finna go ahead and flip that table over and take what we need to take. And we got the young that's coming up right now. The youth, they're looking at what's happening and they're saying it first. We're not like our ancestors. We finna fight back. They need this knowledge. Tupac said one thing that I always reiterate to people is that he says, why am I wasting my time with grown folks when there's all these children out here that needs this knowledge? They're the future. Like, what message would you give to the youth who are just starting to question the narratives they've been taught?
I would always tell them because I don't like telling nobody where they from. You know what I mean? But I know it's so many of us over here that this is our land and we really from here. You know what I'm saying? And it's some
Right.
people, you know what I'm saying? There's some people who got lineages, different types of lineages. But I will always say, look for your history at home first. Never look for your history across the water, for that's what they did to us. They made us look all the way over there in Africa to start looking for our history first. And it took for us to get older to start looking on the ground that we stand. Like maybe our history is here. Let's start looking. Let's at least look here first before we go over there looking. That's what I would say.
Right.
Look, we can start at home. Learn about. We need to
Absolutely.
learn about. We need to learn about America before we learn about any other continent.
Yes, especially because they got us looking over there, Africa, and Africa's so freaking big. It's like I'm behind. Okay, where do I start? Y'all say y'all got us from West Africa, but wait a minute. I did. Yeah, like I know on my mother's side that my family is from North Africa. They have a story of not getting kidnapped and getting on a boat, but getting on a boat and coming here early, 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 early. And they've been based in Florida or the Floor of Isles, which is what they called it before it was renamed Florida. They were staying in the Floor of Isles for a good 100 years, and then Europeans came. It's documented. It's we know this, but they got us looking over there in West Africa, and you start in Ghana, and then you move towards Nigeria, and before you know it, you're on East Africa. Okay, wait a minute, I ain't found no lineage here. Let me go down to South Africa. By the time you get through covering the whole continent, you're 80 years old. You still ain't found your lineage, and then you got some young people that come up to you and tell you it's because you're American. It's because you're indigenous to this land. That's why you haven't found your lineage in Africa. And you being so brainwashed, No, I'm African. I just know it. And maybe they wiped out my tribe and they kidnapped my whole tribe and brought my whole tribe over here. So your whole tribe in the
I be
United
hearing that,
States.
man.
And I'll be like,
Right.
can we make that make sense? Can we
Nah.
really? Because you said you had Africans that helped kidnap the Africans that sold the Africans to the Europeans. So if your tribe was completely over here, then that kind of washes that narrative away that they only sold the prisoners, unless your whole tribe was a tribe of prisoners.
And that's the crazy thing. Like I haven't confirmed that if I have any African lineage looking through my family tree, but it might be possible because I got an ancestor who was actually smuggling Africans into Georgia, bro. So I'm like,
Yeah,
shit, they was around my family, so I might have had you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of
yeah,
ancestors. Like we really have a lot of
yeah.
ancestors. So, but for us to be like looking for our origin over there is
Mm-mm.
not
It's
the,
not.
the
It's
correct way.
not. The way that I see it happening after the so-called transatlantic slave, because I do believe that they brought some Africans, probably like 300. I think they said 300,000 Africans over here. And don't know how they turned it to 4 million, even with the breeding plantations. There's no way that would have been turned into 4 million. But the 300,000 Africans that came here, some of them escaped, and they did go to live with the Native Americans who hid them, or excuse me, the indigenous Americans who hid them. That's what the Seminole Wars are all about. The African slaves ran down there. They were staying with the natives down, the indigenous down there, excuse me, and they became assimilated with the tribe to the point where when the Europeans were like, "Hey, I'm coming to get my property back," they were like, "No, that's family." So
Right.
now this African is just being assimilated into indigenous culture. They have an indigenous child. They have an indigenous tribe. How do we know? Because it stayed in the indigenous tribe.
Right.
They was raised by the indigenous tribe here in the America, so they was automatically indigenous. There was no way you could have took that from them. Yes, we're fully we probably have no more than 10% African in us at this point because that half
Listen,
percent,
bro. Some of us got it, but some of us don't. And a lot, I think
some of
more
us
of us
don't have it at
don't
all.
have it. Yeah, I think more of us don't have it. And like me and you, like we can
Yeah,
kind of pinpoint where our African is or might be. Like
right.
most of y'all don't have it because most of y'all haven't done it because y'all don't have it.
Exactly. It's been the way that they had to, when they did the Trail of Tears and they forced everybody over there to the West Coast. That right there was the people, the small amount of indigenous people who were conquered. But when they was moving them out there to the West, there was so many tribes out there that had not been conquered yet that were still pure indigenous people. Pure indigenous. My grandmother, exactly. My grandmother, the one I showed you a picture of, she was one of the West. Excuse me. She was in the Khalifa territory, where they falsely call California now. She was from the Khalifa territory. Her tribe had never been conquered. Never been conquered. They didn't
Mm,
need a reservation. They live freely amongst the people in California right now. Never lived on a reservation. They don't talk about them. You cannot reclassify these people as black because you saw she looks she she's red. She's red. My grandmother's red. She's not Mongolian brown or whatever that is, that variation is. She's red. So I I don't know. You can't show people pictures of like, oh, you just a self-hate Negro. I just blows my mind. Blows my
well, I don't know how they get over on us with that one. They try to, you just ashamed your African. No, bro, that's just not the truth. You're just a liar.
right.
You want me to be a liar like you? I'm not a liar, bro.
And then I break it down to them like this. You say you African. An African is a slave of the Romans who conquered a piece of the place that y'all now call North Africa, because that land wasn't always called Africa.
Nope.
The only part of Africa that was Africa was the slave colony, the Roman slave colony. So to say you're an African is to say you're a slave of the Roman conqueror.
Right.
Everybody else had tribes. So you still claiming that reclassification. You ain't getting away from it. And unless you look at the truth of the matter. They had to reclassify you to take you away from your land.
And what's crazy, bro? When I'm looking at it, especially, and I'll speak for our land, the region we call the United States of America today. Africans was probably the least continent of people being brought over here as
Right.
enslaved people. It
Mm-hmm.
was more Europeans to North America. It was more Europeans and
Mm-hmm.
and not all white Europeans. It was Negro Europeans as well. It was
Yep.
East Indians. They was being brought over here, and then I think those the two main ones. I think it's another one, but them is the main people that really was brought here. Like, Africans was the least people to be brought over here as
Yep.
enslaved people.
And that is so true because my father, who I showed you, whose mother is Cherokee or Anayangwea, his dad is Irish. The reason why is because green niggers were getting treated just like black people or indigenous people who were reclassified as black. So they found a common ground. And there's more you will find more Africans that have Irish bloodline as well because they both came over here at the same time. They was all, and the Irish was the first ones here, slave wise. The Irish was the first slaves. They just called them indentured servitude because it wasn't chattel slavery. But Irish, when they were moved out to the West, they integrated with the reclassified indigenous people because they had the same freaking struggle.
Exactly, and nowhere else. Where your where's your granddaddy?
Well, yeah, he's my granddad, but he didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandmother's husband. But yeah, my granddaddy on my dad's side, my paternal grandfather is Irish, full-blooded Irish.
Where's he from?
I have no idea. I know they living in Dublin right now because when my dad met
Oh, he
him
was
to
from Ireland.
yeah, but he was here in the United States. He just went back to Ireland,
What
and he
what what where did he when he first came over here? Where did he come from? Where did he come
I
to?
have
Because I
no
know
idea.
North Carolina got a big Irish lineage because a lot of the Irish came from there, and where you
Right.
can hear it in their voice a lot, and they do have the history of the Irish coming over to Jamaica. You can hear
Yeah.
it when Jamaicans speak. You can hear it.
Yeah, yeah. They do. Irish actually went and got the potatoes from Jamaica when they were slaves and took them back to Europe, and that's why they call French fries because they went to go cook them for the French people. So they called them French fries. So yeah, the Irish definitely got lineage in Jamaica. I started looking into. I don't know my grandfather. I met him once, and that was through a Zoom call. Um, that was my dad trying to introduce me. My dad didn't raise me. I got connected with my dad, and then I got connected with my grandmother, and that's when she was teaching me all of this stuff. And then he finally found his dad. So he was like, "I want you to meet my dad," and I'm like, "I meet him. Okay, cool, cool." But nah, they live in Dublin now, and they probably are part of that the society you're talking about with the Irish that came over here. But I never got into it with them on that. I probably need to because it is part of my lineage, but I've been so focused on finding my American lineage because the North African lineage that I had quickly turned into American lineage even before slavery.
Yeah, and that's big. That's it's major for us to look into it and get those connections too,
Yeah.
because not only do we have stuff that we got to claim here, it's stuff that we do have to claim, or like some of that European stuff is ours. It got our name on it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
a lot of our ancestors went over there and set up shop, on a major
Yep.
level over there. So we
Mhm.
and we probably got a more vast European lineage than we do African lineage, honestly.
Yeah, we do. We do. The reason why we do is because when it was the Atlantis River, not the Atlantic Ocean, we was crossing over there. We was going there was nothing for us to really do over there because it was all rocks and barren things, but we went over there and we still tried to build civilizations. The original Irish were dark skinned. That's why they say they was called green niggers from the very beginning, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, because even if you look at our veins and stuff, the veins are blue, but when it comes through the melanated skin, it looks green. It gives us that green tint. So that's why I forgot who Saint Patrick. I forgot his real name. He went through slaughtering all of the green snakes. Those was us. You know what I'm saying? And then they took over Ireland.
How
Well,
good?
Ireland.
Wow, that's that's powerful because that serpent symbolism comes from the western side of the world. So you know that was us. Even that's us going over there setting up stuff and
Yep.
making y'all something. Like so
Yep.
we've been going been we started from here and we've been going around the world doing for people and it's just
Now I'm gonna break it down to you about that snake too, because you said it's from here. That is correct. When it was here, it was a symbol of grace and humility and health. When you go over there to the Europeans and go over there to Africa, it's their major sign for health. Then you come back over here to the European Corporation in the United States and look at their healthcare sign. It's a snake going around a cross. We were the original healers. That's why you could come to this land and heal. If you ground yourself and get connected with the land, you heal. We was the original healers on this land. That's why when you look at a lot of tribes, they have a very big emphasis on the witch doctor, which if you look in the African culture, it's the same thing. Because this land was very close. Like we traveled the river. We crossed the word Ibri or Hebrew translates into the ones who crossed the river. What river? The river Atlantis. That after the great supernova or the great earthquake separated even further, creating an ocean. That's it rigid. That's why everything is older over here. That's why if you go and look at cultures, they're more established in other parts of the world, but it always referred back to the original translation of it, which comes from here, i.e., the
okay.
snake. So
And
that's
you could tell America just we've been around so much long just because of the infrastructure and the civilization. It's a stolen civilization now, but they had to get
mhm,
it from somewhere to flip it. And
yep,
it was like we got electricity, plumbing, like we're
yes,
so much more ahead of the curve than a lot of countries, and we're bigger. So that even
right,
per capita is crazy.
yes. Exactly, man. It's like the way that you could count up the Americans. You got these two great continents, which I don't understand Europeans when they say, "Oh, Brazilians aren't Americans." Like they literally on the South American continent. But y'all know everything. Y'all know everything, so we're gonna leave it all. But we coming towards the end of this, and I want to get the message concise. I want to get it straight to the point. If you had the world's ear for just 1 minute, what would you say to awaken our people?
I would say we need to take this time that we've had together to build right now. So me and this brother, we're gonna continue to work, I would say, and I said we need to really be putting some stuff together that we can stand behind. We need to take control back of we can't be scared to take our stuff back. And it shouldn't take forever. It's gonna take us through no, brother. It should take about 15 days to 15 to 30 days. Especially with you know what I'm saying, 50,000, 100,000 plus. It's already so many people who already tribed up. It's already so many people who have come into the knowledge and got certain knowledges. As much as we love the history, and it does open a box for us to stand on our sovereign square, our square is natural men and women of the land, heirs to the soil. It's got to be a certain action being taken with us. We got to have certain things in place. We have to put certain people on notice, and we got to follow through with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because shouldn't none of us not be living like the royals that we are? I would say. Like, why are we not at the point of where our ancestors were royal people. I'm saying they wasn't no bums. They, if you can even go back to our grannies. Our grannies held themselves with a certain demeanor. They were very demure people, if that's the word. So we need to get into that bag and really stand on our business. You know what I'm saying? Tell people like it is, and the people that matter. You know what I'm saying? The entities in the corporations that matter, not the internet. It's only so much arguing we could do with the hunter gatherers. We need to get to talking to these entities, these agents, and all these people. It's been too many crimes against our people, and it's time for us to stand on business. That's what I would say to my people.
Man, yeah, and that's perfect right there because we have a lot of people that just they don't know. Not only do they not know what to do, but when they do find out, they don't actually have the fear put to the side to they don't have the courage to actually go through with it. And we do need to get that courage in order to be able to make these plays that we have to make in order to be able to reclaim our land, reclaim our legacy, reclaim our estate, everything. It just
Hey,
it's getting to that point.
yeah,
No, I'm sorry. Go
and
ahead.
no, I was saying that word was big estate,
Hmm.
and that's the
Yeah,
thing. Them plantations and stuff are yours.
yeah.
They wouldn't be
It,
national parks and stuff if your name wasn't attached to them. Why aren't the YT people who supposedly owned us still living in these plantations? Because they're
right.
yours.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I actually had an interview with somebody who sells plantation houses. And she's a black woman and she tells people black people all the time, they're going for real cheap now because in order to be able to keep the upkeep up of it is kind of expensive and the government is like, we're tired of doing it. Yeah. But imagine having 8 families living in a plantation house, farming the land. That's your nation right there. So I might have to introduce you to her because I believe she's on TikTok as well. So I might have to introduce you to because that may be a real good connection that we can make something happen and start investing in getting our land back.
Having that. And we need to have them move around because really it's all our land. We'll get to the south when we get to the south and get that paperwork because they look at us like minors, like we can't fucking do it ourselves. So when we get, you know what I'm saying, back to the south and get this, all right, the Johnsons, you got this, the you know what I'm saying, the
Right.
Jones y'all over here, like we'll get that together. But really all of it's ours. From
Yep.
New York to California, it's all ours, and we need to be able to move on our land and restore our land in a way where y'all are not going to patrol us like y'all think y'all been trying,
Right.
like y'all been trying to patrol us and control what we do. No, we're going to tell you what to do. You move around. You know what I'm saying? We got to have
Right.
certain correct ways of doing that, and at least getting to that point where it's like, all right, it's a system now. How they got like we ain't got to tell them what to do because they know to stop at this red light. They know to do this. Like we gotta,
Facts.
like they put us in this. Like no, it's time for them people to get some order about they self or go
Yep.
home. That's what I'm on.
Exactly, exactly, man. And hopefully, a lot of people are going to get this through their head, and we're going to start enforcing those rules, and we can actually start making a lot of progress. This interview has been like very enlightening, very structural. I love the way that you was able to break these things down, especially about how we need to get in touch with our ancestors, man. So thank you so much of that. Is there anything else anybody you want to give a shout out to? You want to give some enlightenment to anybody?
Um, I I appreciate my people. I'm looking for us to getting things going and really bringing some restorance back, really taking some people out of power, deactivating some stuff and activating some stuff. That's what I'm excited for. So this is just, you know what I'm saying, the really is the beginning. And I appreciate everybody. Y'all follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Sosa Bread on TikTok, Infinity A on actually Infinity A on TikTok. I think I got a Social Bread TikTok as well. But Social Bread on Facebook and Instagram as well. So
Already, yeah, we definitely gonna put all your social media links in the description, so y'all go below, follow Sosa Bread right now, because you definitely need this knowledge in your life. You need people that can uplift you and help instill that courage, because once we do, we can start fixing the situation that we are in, and hopefully our children and our grandchildren will be able to live free and stop being oppressed by systems and corporations that just does not work for us. So thank you so much for your enlightenment, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Let's do this again whenever you want to, man. Let's break it down some more. Let's, you know what I'm saying, put some stuff on the screen if we need to, get to breaking down what we need to do, and let's do it, man. Crack some more
Oh
codes. I
yeah.
appreciate you for having me.
Oh, definitely. Anytime you want to do a presentation or something and put it out there to the world, man, you got our platform. We are on all streaming services, plus on YouTube. So we definitely can get your information out there, man. So definitely, anytime you want to put something together, hit us up and we'll make it happen. This is Revolutionary Hour. That's what we do here.
Man, peace and admirations. I appreciate y'all, man.
All right. And that wraps up another enlightening episode of Revolutionary Hour. Tonight, we didn't just have a conversation. We witnessed a reclamation of history, identity, and purpose. As always, our mission is to awaken the sleeping giants, to speak truth to power, and to restore the legacy stolen through colonization, reclassification, and cultural erasure. If you took anything from tonight's message, let it be this: we are not black, Negro, or colored. We are indigenous, heirs to the global empire, your sons and daughters of the soil, standing on the threshold of a great awakening. The time is now. Reclaim your name, your nationality, and your estate. Until next time, keep seeking, keep speaking, and keep rising. This is Revolutionary Hour, here with Sosa Bread, where the revolutionary begins in the mind.